Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. I was out today and I actually ran into someone I haven't seen in a long time. He used to be a property manager at one of my favorite spots, and we were just talking about stuff, and it just reminded me of all the funny stuff that happens at auction that has nothing to do with the units. Because you see the shows and they show up and they're at the gate, and then next thing you know, they're behind the gate and they're bidding. Regular storage auctions don't work like that all the time. Sometimes there's a lot of hurry up and wait. You get to a location, they have to go over the paperwork, and you could be outside 30 minutes an hour. And if you're on a large auction trail, it can be an all-day affair with a lot of downtime. And with this downtime, that's when a lot of these shenanigans and debauchery jumps off. Something started years ago here called what I call storage auction poker. I remember when it started, and I remember who started, and I mean, they used to pay for change, you know, pennies and nickels, and moved up to quarters and dimes, then moved up to dollars, then fives, then tens. And there was one guy, he claimed he was paying his mortgage every month just coming out playing poker at the storage auctions. And I was just like, why would you be putting your capital at risk to play poker versus saving it for a unit? And it hit me. There's a lot of gamblers that come out for this business. It's just like, more importantly than what's in the unit, it's the thrill of betting or trying to come up large on the other side of a gamble. That's the main reason for coming out. And when I understood how to identify these people and how to tick them off and piss them off and get them out their game, it was easier for me, because to me, they're worse than treasure hunters. It's just, you know, as long as they got money, they're dangerous. So you have to flush them out of their money. I know one person that was really, really good about this, and I don't know if he still comes out, but he would never buy, and he was what I call the bird dog dude. He would just kind of wait, and if you saw you were on the unit hard, he was like, oh, that must be a good unit. You know, that was his thing. He used to claim, like, yeah, I don't do any research. I just wait till other people bid on good shit and take it. Well, I led his ass down a trail, because this is research, right? And I knew he was going to be there because he's always at this auction. And I just started this whisper campaign, because see, this is how you set off a little secret. You kind of walk off to the side with a friend and you just say half of something, and you make sure a newbie or whoever you want to hear hears just a little bit. They don't need, because see, they don't need the full Monty. They need just a little bit, and they're off, and you're like, shh. And when they get real close, you both just stop talking. Hey man, how you doing? Yeah. But they heard something, and they heard the unit number, right? So he was all on it, and he was walking around smiling like, you know, the cat that ate the canary. And I was like, okay. So we get to the unit, and I saw the picture, and I knew the front was great. But the lady in the auction office, she said that the owner said they had a lot of problems with that unit, because one of the reasons they let it go was the unit was leaking, and they said it had flooded for some reason. I was like, really? And when the door went up, you could smell the dampness. And I was just like, oh, I'm getting this unit. 500. So a little dude like comes up, 550. You know, and we just on and on and on. I'm like, oh, yeah, whatever. 800, 900, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 1,700, 2,000. You ain't getting this dude. 2,100. I'm like, too rich for my blood, right? So I gracefully buy out, right? And I go around the corner and just double over, because I just like, no, he took it. You know, he just took the whole deal. And the rest of the day didn't have any problems out of me, which also let me know that, you know, that was $2,000 was his budget. And I said, oh, that's good information. That's really good information. So long story short, a few weeks later, don't see him at auctions. Haven't seen him for weeks. Then I inquire, it's like, hey, where's so-and-so? Oh, man, he got a really bad unit. There was mold. The stuff was broke. He spent $2,000 plus tax. And he rented the unit, too. And that's how you tone up someone that's always in your ass. It pays to do your research. I keep telling y'all, do your research. And another thing that happened, and this was funny, and I was right next to the property manager. Well, she's really the district manager, and she's really, really cute, and she has a nice body. But I could tell that the storage auction thing, well, the storage business wasn't her thing, because she would come to the auctions really dolled up, nice dresses, looking good, smelling good. And it just like didn't make sense for the crowd. Well, one day she actually messes around, and she comes in looking better than a summer day. I'm walking next to her and everything, because we would chat, because she had just applied to law school and she was hoping to get accepted, and we were talking about that. So we were just walking and talking. The next thing you know, she just goes, "Woo!" I was like, "What is wrong with you?" And she said, "I'll tell you in a minute." She's looking all crazy, right? And I'm just like, what the hell? So, we go to the auction and everything, and I noticed that she's just standing away from the crowd, and we go from unit to unit, from unit to unit. She's just like off to herself. And as I bought a few units, and after the auction, I was the last one. I was just like, what happened? She said someone felt me up. I was like, really? It's like got a handful too. And I was just like, I was like, really? She said, yeah, that's never happened before. And I was like, well, it wasn't me. She's like, yeah, I know it wasn't you. Just saying, because I know that you were a little standoffish. And I'm just like, I can only imagine what's happening with the people out there right now, because the crowds are bigger, and you had all kind of foolishness. Also, you would also have what I call the set it off people. They get to the unit, yeah, that looks real good, and I'm telling you, just like the whisper rooms on the internet for stock tips, all you have to do is put out a little information. You don't have to give them the full frontal. I'm telling you, they just chomp down on it and go with it, because people are lazy. They don't want to do their research. They're looking for an easy way out, which makes them susceptible to these games and tricks that you can play on them. Now, let's really talk about that stuff. You going, I just want to go out there and just bid and get me a unit. I don't want to really go through those shenanigans. I don't want to do that, right? Okay, cool, you do that. But understand, just because you're not playing games with people, don't underestimate that they're not playing games with your ass. And that's one of the things that I get with a lot of people who are coming out there. They just want to go out there and get a good unit, and they'll go through these chicks. It's not going to happen. This is super, super competitive business. It always has been, and it always will be. But, if you want to be a full-fledged vet, you will play games with people. You will run people up, and you will become part of the storage auction culture, which is kind of weird, because I didn't know I was in one day until it was about my second year, and I was there with a guy I absolutely despised. I couldn't stand him. I just saw him and just wanted to spit on him, right? And we're just sitting there, it's just us, and then all the noobs start coming. And the next thing I know, this guy that I don't like, I'm talking to him, because it's like, it's better to dance with a devil that you know than an angel you don't know, because I didn't know any of them. And it's like, yeah, that's a lot of people, right? And oddly enough, we were tag teaming and running their ass up and laughing about it, and damn, they're like friends. And I'm like, what just happened? And that's how bad it is with this business, because you really deal with people because I knew what he was going to do. He knew what I was going to do, and we had all these noobs. We have no clue what they were going to do. And just, I started off with crazy bidding. Room I know wouldn't pay no more than $50. I started at $150. And one guy took the bid, and he paid $300 for that $50 room. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. That shit was fun. And this stuff is going to go out there. Now, one of the things that I'm hearing is that a lot of you new folks are running the vets off. And this is something that I said in a video maybe 2 years ago. Either you're going to marinate or you're going to mildew. Either you're going to increase your business, up your game, whatever you need to do, or you're going to fade out. And I said it when I wrote the book and I was doing my webinars. It's like one of the reasons I was able to beat these guys who all had way more money than I did. They didn't embrace technology. They did not embrace data collection. They were just kind of, well, this worked for me for like last 15 years, so if it ain't broke, I ain't gonna break it. He. It's like, okay, the world's changing, baby boy. It's changing every day, and if you don't embrace technology, you ain't gonna make it. And they're like going away. Someone put out that a lot of them were selling their trucks, and they're getting out the business because when it was super good, when it was like you just show up and make money. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put this out right now. Here it is, February, in December, and it happened this December. There will be places where the crowds will be smaller because everyone's focusing on Christmas. And you can get units for the low, as my friend in the hood say, for the low every year. And every year, I would save my money and just buy like an idiot in December. Renting units, just buying stuff, making deals, whatever I had, would buy like 3 times as many units as I normally would buy. And also, be stocking up in November and start the process in October. Why? Because we're in the midst of tax season. That's what's going on right now. I see the tweets. I see people. They're like, I'm tired of this. It has happened for the last 10 years, as far as I know, that there's an increase in the number of people coming out and a decrease in the number of units available because people take their refunds to pay off their units. And it happens every freaking year. And every freaking year, 80 to 90% of the people who come out there are unprepared. Now, what does this tell you? Because, I've had this argument. I stopped fighting with people. And it's like, this business is just common sense. If it's so common sense, why do people... Because I actually put this out in a video. I do it every year. And every year, you get people like, oh, God, man, this is horrible. I can't wait till this is over. Oh, God, when the summer's coming. You got to prepare for this stuff because next year is going to happen again. So that's, the deal. I'm just putting this out there because, I'm getting ready to do a lot of different stuff. And, with the webinars and everything, there are people, if you didn't get on the first one, don't despair. There will be another one. And I'm also doing a Get Your Hustle On business webinar. Everyone doesn't want to do storage auctions. Get that. Everyone doesn't want to pick it. But the thing is, and I honestly feel that you need some type of side hustle. Everyone needs an additional source of income. I truly believe that because what's going on in this country is not going to change overnight. And if you don't have certain skill sets or you're not an entrepreneur in the right field, it's going to be hard for you. That's just the way that it is. That's how I see it. I may be wrong, but that's my opinion. And my opinion is being bared out by a lot of pain that I read about every day in the newspapers and watch on the news. It's just really, really hard out there. So do this for yourself. Sign up for the webinar. There's only 100 people per, if 100 people sign up between now and when I have it, I'll just do a second one. But understand, this thing is critical. This is very, very critical. Just letting you know. All right, this is Glendon, making money with storage unit auction.